Ladies and gentlemen, HEX community of all ages, hey, JakeFreedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for round, I believe, is this round 6 now of the HTP challenge series, going up against Valazdin. Well, that's how I'm going to pronounce his name anyway. So we're going to get this started here. Both of us are online, and we'll start game 1. Now, if anybody's been following me since I put like round 3 up on my channel there, you know I haven't been doing too well. And that's okay. I think I've won one round so far, and that was basically by default because the opponent had to leave. So we'll see how we do this time here. I'm gonna guess not so well. I've looked back at this guy's record here, and he's been doing pretty well. So we'll see how we do. All right, opening hand: 3 shards, a Shards of Fate, Eternal Youth, Inner Conflict, Chaos Key. Why not? You know, these cards here are all diamond threshold here, and this is no threshold at all, so we might as well keep it. If these are all bloods, we would throw that hand back, obviously. So, let's see here. Opponent says, good luck. You too. You know, I should keep track of how many times I actually get to go first. It doesn't seem like I've got to go first very much. I don't know. It could just be me always seeing the bad side of stuff. I'm not sure. Alright, so we know we got Sapphire for sure. He knows I have Blood for sure. So he knows my 2 colors if he's looked at my champion. Not that it matters, not that you're trying to keep it a secret or anything like that, but... oh boy. Alright. Throw that guy down. So basically right now our opening hand we can't do a whole lot. But this deck really isn't designed to come out of the gate swinging. It's designed around just let's kind of control the board and do damage here and there, which is probably why some of my games last as long as they do. And again, this is the same Blood Diamond deck that I've been playing since round 2, I believe. And most of you know, if you've been following, know that there's only 2 troops in the deck. And that would be Eternal Guardian and Ozawa. Alright, so he comes out with a Technical Genius. Pay 1 less to play artifacts. So maybe he's got a lot of artifacts. He might have like a worker bot factory going on. Who knows? Something like that. Alright, second turn. Again, we could play Chaos Key if we want to here, and if I really wanted to activate my champion's ability, I have to draw and do a blood, or else I should have played the Shards of Fate, which, yeah, I'm not too worried about that right now. Life Siphon. Okay, let's go ahead and just play another one of these. And God, we play the Chaos Key just to get it out on the table. I think we should. Maybe just to say, hey, you know, I've got this available, so watch out. I can destroy any card you have at will once we have 5 total resources. During my turn, since it is a basic action. So the other cards we have in our hand is Eternal Youth, which is an escalation, gain health. First time we go gain 4 health, then we gain 8, then 12, then 16, so on and so forth. Our Inner Conflict here is give a troop permanent can attack, can't block. Life Siphon is deal X amount of damage plus 1 and gain the amount of health back. So if I cast this for, you know, to do 10 damage, it's going to cost me 11, but I'll deal 10 damage in health, and then I'll deal 10 damage to the opponent, and I'll get 10 health in return. So here we're going to take a damage, which is fine. We don't have anything to block this one with. 2 damage or 1 damage I'm not going to get too terribly worried about right now. If this was a Thunderbird raging up all the time, then you get kind of worried about them. So depending on what we draw here, we could play Inner Conflict on him next turn. I think it's a little early maybe to play Inner Conflict on a 1-2 card. We want to maybe get that on a higher damage card, like Rocket Ranger. Okay, Rocket Ranger is a pretty neat card. It deals about artifacts. You have 2 artifacts, you get flight. 4 artifacts, you get +2/+2. 6 artifacts, and you deal additional 4 damage to your opponent. So that might be a card that we do Inner Conflict on. Maybe we draw. Well, if we draw a Persecute, we're going to be screwed because we can't play that anyway. We don't meet the threshold yet. Okay, Secret Lab. So let's go ahead and do our Shards of Fate. And we're going to pull out a blood just so we meet our blood threshold for our champion. And we can continue using him. So since we did that, we are not going to be able to play Inner Conflict on either one of these troops, which is fine. I think for sure we're going to play Inner Conflict on this guy here unless we draw into a Persecute or Murder or something like that. That's the plan as of right now anyway. So the new card in our hand here is Secret Laboratory. Secret Laboratory allows us to draw a card, then discard a card for 1 resource. Can come in handy. I don't like having to discard a card. I like Pact of Pain when it comes to blood draw. You just pay 2 health, draw a card. With Eternal Youth, the escalation health gain, it kind of evens itself out, so you can just keep drawing cards and not really have to worry about dying or killing yourself. Alright, War Machine is here. When an artifact enters plane under your control, this troop deals 1 damage to each opposing champion. So there he brings out a Worker Bot. With the Technical Genius, the Worker Bot was free. An Extinction wouldn't be too bad right now. Okay, the card came up out of the chain. It's still obviously a little bit bugged there. It's asking him, hey, you know, it still thinks he has 4 or 6 artifacts out there, which he really doesn't. So it's not going to deal an additional 4 damage. It's still only going to do the 2, so I will only drop down to 16 health here. Alright, let's see. What are we going to get dealt this time? How is our top decking skills? Repel. I don't mind that one at all. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to play Repel and Inner Conflict, since that would be a total of 5 resources. So we'll play that, and this one here we want to eliminate off the board since we don't want it to be dealing damage. So I think right now we're going to play. He's got 3 resources left. I bet you he has counter magic in his hand. Let's see if he does. I'm going to bet that he does. He has plenty of resources to play it. And there it is. Counter magic. Alright, so even if we had a counter magic, you can't counter magic because it locks up the client, but we don't have one anyway, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, counter magic is you interrupt this particular thing, and now the next repel comes out as he's going to be a cost of 5, which is unfortunate. So there goes that plan. Counter magic is one of those cards that you hate to love. You love to hate it. It's nice when you have it, terrible when you have to go against it. One, basically because you can't do anything about it. You just got to let it come through, because if you try to do anything about it, you know, the game locks up, which will be fixed. That's not, you know, going to be in the final version, obviously, since this is just an alpha version. You know, they'll fix that, but there are more pressing issues to get corrected. Looks like he's having some sync issues. So yeah, I know what you mean. Basically what he's saying there is when you play counter magic, for some reason the game needs to sync more when you play counter magic for some reason. And again, it'll be all corrected in the future. All right, so we're getting totally trashed here right now. We need something. We need an extinction, bad, and make sure he doesn't have 3 resources in his hand to play counter magic when we play extinction, if we get one. But since it's a 2-cost card, 2 threshold blood, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it right now. Gonna bounce my chaos key back to my hand, which is fucking irritating. Oh well. All right. So things aren't going the greatest for us right now. The good news is he doesn't have any card draw on the table, and he's down to 1 card, so we have a significant card advantage, but he does have a health advantage over us. Another life siphon. Not really a lot of help. So what we're going to do here, I wonder what he's got left in his hand there. He's going to play that, and we'll go ahead and deal a damage, gain a health. So our health difference isn't so far away. Since we have 5 resources, we could certainly do Eternal Youth, and we're going to save 2 for Repel to try to damage the Petrobot here. I think that's how you say it. I'm going to call him... I guess you could call him Terabot, since the P would be silent there, so... Terabot it is. So now if we want to use our Chaos Key in 1 turn, we need 8 resources, 3 to play it, 5 to activate it. So hopefully he plays something that costs more than like 1. So it drops him below the 3 resource cost for counter magic. Then we'll be able to play Repel without having to worry about too much stuff. Then following turn, depending on what we draw into, we might just put Secret Laboratory out there. It'd be nice if I could get a relentless corruption. Well, that wouldn't matter. It's 2 threshold. Life siphon's 2 threshold. Mainly, most of the blood cards I have, besides persecute and murder, are 2 threshold. All right, so he's playing Urig the Robomancer, and this is where you can create warbots, transform create worker bots, transform worker bots into warbots, and you can transform warbots into war hulks. Scary card. We might want to get rid of that one ASAP. This is where it'd be nice if we drew into a persecute. So he doesn't have anything left to counter my repel, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of his Terabot. That doesn't matter. He's not going to do any more damage to me. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get rid of the Terabot. Getting rid of the Rocket Ranger won't be an issue with the Persecute. As long as we can get one. Need to draw one. Alright, Terabot's gone. We're going to take 3 more damage here. The nice thing that we got going on right now is he doesn't have a lot of high damage characters on the field, or high damage troops. So that's good. We're taking 4 damage, not 3. Why was he saying 3? I'm not sure. So 4 damage, down to 12. An escalation will give us 8. An escalation will give us back up to 20. It's either A, I don't know what we're gonna draw here. If it's a removal card, it's not gonna work unless it's Persecute. Another Inner Conflict would work right now. That'd be nice. Put him on Rocket Ranger. I want to get rid of him for sure. Okay. An extinction. Dang it. I definitely need to play that. I'd like to play it, but we can't. Bummer. Okay. We're not out of it yet. Luckily, he's top decking now. He's out of cards in his hand, so he's played everything, and he'll probably top deck phenomenal stuff, which just sometimes happens. Sometimes we get lucky, sometimes we don't. I do not want to activate the secret lab because there's nothing here that I want to throw away. I want to keep this. I want to keep Life Siphon. Yeah, the Chaos Key I could maybe get rid of, but I really don't want to because it can target anything. You might have some constants in here that start giving him that card draw. The fermentation. I forget what it's called. Hopefully he's not running the mill deck. If he is, if he puts Twisted Fate out there, I'd like to be able to get rid of that. So the Chaos Key is just too good of a card, but it's so expensive. I understand that, but it can get rid of anything. Alright, so this turn here, we're going to be taking 2, 3, 4. Wait for the cards to stop moving around. 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, which is not good. Hopefully we draw into a blood to wipe the board. Because right now, if we were able to wipe the board now, he's having to rely on top decking only, and we would be at a significant board advantage. And we only have 5 resources. Our Eternal Guardian's 8, so right now we're on a 2-turn clock. So if we can't get rid of his board, we are done in 2 turns from now. That's the way it goes. Sometimes you just don't get the resources and threshold that you need, and you just can't respond the way you'd want. 5 damage, sorry. Forgot the worker bot is defensive only. Now the problem we're running into is now he saved a card. It obviously wasn't a troop, probably wasn't a resource. If we play Extinction and he counters it, we're going to be in trouble. Alright, so next turn, not quite dead, but we're almost dead. It's one irritating thing about when people play counter magic. I think it should be taken out of the game since you can't counter magic right now. But takes my time off too. The opponent's saying that it's taking his time off with the sinking. Well, there's your penalty for playing counter magic. Okay, so here's our other blood. Do you think he has counter magic? I think he does. It would not surprise me one bit, but this is the only thing we're going to be able to play to keep us in the game. Let's see if he counters it. If he does, we're done. He does not. Okay. So we're still in it. Still in it here. So we wouldn't proceed. I still don't want to draw a card out of here. Because if it's something I want to be able to keep it, not discard. I probably should discard that chaos key, but it's so hard to. I don't think I can get lucky 2 times in a row there with him not having counter magic and whatnot. So I wonder what his other card is. It could be that 8/1 ruby card that has speed. That'll definitely take care of me. Okay, Relentless Corruption, perfect. I will definitely play that for sure. Maybe we can get a resource from him. We do. So what we could do here is we could either play a resource, or now we could play Secret Lab and then use the resource to discard. I think it's a safe bet. Even if we draw into another resource, maybe we draw into a repel. You know, I'm probably going to kick myself for doing this, but I'm going to discard this. We're shy on resources. We'll just let it go. Let the chaos key go. Just let it go, man. Just let it go. Okay, so right now we can do a total of 12 damage. We can't quite get him yet, so now I like having 2 life siphons. As long as I can deal at least half damage one turn, I can deal the rest of the damage the following turn. But we'll see how things play out. We're still a ways away from that. I need to be able to deal 9 damage, so that'd be 10 resources. Alright, another Rocket Ranger. can get another Relentless, that would be great. That'll be fine too. We'll go ahead and do that. So that's 14 damage total between our life siphons. I'm just going to proceed to next phase. Now that the board is balanced back out, I'm not so worried, but it's still anybody's game. You know, come to think of it, that 8-1 card that I was talking about with speed, man, you'd be crazy to play that in a multicolored deck, simply for the fact that I think its threshold is like 5 or 6, something crazy like that. Alright, let's see if Repel will come through. See if he'll stop it. Did he have counter? He possibly could. He's got 2 cards in his hand. And he does. Great. More sinking issues. Sweet. Good job. It's not that I dislike the card counter magic, or dislike the fact that the opponent's playing counter magic. Well, maybe I kind of do, but we know, the community of HEX knows that counter magic causes these issues here because it's not perfected yet. So, in my defense, if you're going to say, hey, my time might run out because I played counter magic because I know it causes issues, you know, that's not an excuse. If your time runs out because you played a card that you know sinks a lot, that's, I mean, not to be mean, but that's your problem, not mine. Maybe I sound like a dick, I don't know. I don't think so, but I wouldn't expect anybody else to say, oh, well, you play counter magic and it causes sinking issues, ran out of time. Well, we'll give you that game. Not a chance. That's not going to happen. Alright. So right now, we can actually, with that play right there, I can do 16 damage both turns. I don't think this other card in his hand is a counter magic because he didn't play it the other time. So let's go ahead and see if this works and he doesn't draw into another counter magic. If that's yeah, I didn't think it would be a counter magic. Okay, so we could possibly get somewhere here. I think maybe we should be cautious on playing this particular life siphon here. Because we know if he plays a card, he does not play a card, so it cash. Okay, he does. Okay, so it's a sapphire. We might have this one. Unless he could have been hanging on to that sapphire and he drew into a counter and then played it. You never know. He's just so low on cards, he's not gonna. It's tough to exhaust all your resources. If he was sitting at 0 cards, this would be a 100% win. But well, we could play Ozawa. Do we play Ozawa and then try to hit him for 13? and then do Life Siphon? Well, what we could do, we could try to do Life Siphon. If that doesn't work, then we could... Okay, let's try it. Hopefully he doesn't have counter. If he does, fine, we'll play Ozawa next turn, and then we still might have game. He does not. Awesome. So we win that first game. GG. GG. Oops. GG. Alright. Let's see here. Yeah, I like that one. I like having him in my hand. We got some control, we got some health gain, and we have take no damage. So we'll keep that. And then we have 2 of each shard, which is going to meet the threshold of everything we have in our hand. So I like starting out a hand like this, having 2 of each. It does not bother me one bit. So this time here we'll go ahead and start with the, doesn't matter which shard we start with, we'll go ahead and start with the blood. So if anybody's watching who's unfamiliar with Eternal Guardian is an 8-cost 5/5 flyer, and he prevents damage to you being your champion, and all other troops on the table except himself. So he himself is vulnerable. He is no longer vulnerable to murder. He was recently buffed. He's vulnerable to Chaos Key, taking damage from other flyers. But generally you won't attack with this guy. Vulnerable to Extinction, which we don't have to worry about here. Rage fires, burn, things like that. He could take damage, obviously. So his deck here, I'm not good at classifying decks. I mean, it doesn't seem like an aggro deck because it's not real quick to ramp up and do a lot of damage to you. It's just like, let's slowly build up our army, and then, bam, let's one-shot you, or just, maybe not even that. Maybe just kind of slowly work you down. So I don't know what kind of deck you'd call it. It's not really a control deck. I'm running more of a control-style deck, trying to keep things off the table. I know there's aggro decks, control decks. There's a couple other names too. I don't know what they are. Something like that. There's stall decks, where those are the decks where you're continuously bouncing their particular cards back in their hand. So they can't play them. They're not necessarily killing them, but it's just getting them off the board, so it just takes another turn for them to come out. And that's something you want to do, like, if you know you need certain things to happen, you can kind of stall them to hopefully maybe you draw into what you need. Stall them out long enough to be able to get your troops out there that you want. And so really right now he has a lot of low cost cards. That one was -1. I mean, I think that came from his champion though. They're really low cost, low damage cards. Not a lot to really worry about, but if you have a lot of little cards out there, they do add up to big numbers. Like here, even though this one's defensive, so we're still only sitting with 3 damage on the table. which isn't something to really write home about quite yet. I didn't see any cards that buff his cards in the last game. I don't want to waste a murder on any of these things here. I want to use murder for his Rocket Ranger, his Terrabot, things like that. So we could throw another diamond down and then play Eternal Youth. Let's go ahead and do that. Not that it's completely necessary, because escalation does affect all zones, and it doesn't have, you know, if you have 2 of them in your deck, the next one will be affected, so it will escalate there. But I'd like to be able to play something. And that lets them know now we don't have repel. And okay, here's his Rocket Ranger. I use most of his resources there, so we should be able to play and murder him and not have to worry too much about it. Okay, so let's go ahead. First we'll activate our champ power. If you haven't already figured out what my champion does, it deals a damage and gives me health back. Now let's go ahead. He does not have the ability to play counter, so we'll go ahead and murder his Rocket Ranger. Murder. And we still only have, we're only going to be able to get, as of now, we only have 6 resources, so we're still a couple shy from Eternal Guardian. Again, still only 3 damage on the board from him. Still waiting for that double life siphon. Before, with Ozawa, he was a 7-cost card, so I had a 7-cost big end troop and an 8-cost big end troop. Now Ozawa got changed, and now he's 8, so I have 2 8-cost troops at the end of the game, so I can't, if I have them both in my hand, I mean, you wouldn't be able to play them before, but just kind of a bummer. If I have both in my hand, which one do we want to play? You want to play Eternal Guardian, you want to play Ozawa? Kind of situational, depending on what the board state actually is. So another 3 damage coming our way. So let's see, that's 3 damage per turn if that's all he hangs out with. And that's 3, 5 turns away from killing me. I think we're sitting alright. Surge Mechanism, he helps out a ton. That's what helps us get our resources up for our life siphon. So now we're going to leave a couple resources in our hand. I'm not saying it's he's going to not do anything because of that, but then at the end of his turn, if he doesn't, well, it depends on what happens. Basically how I use this here is at the end of his turn, his end phase, I'll go ahead and tap this guy to get the additional resources for the next turn. Another worker bot, again defensive only. Another 3 damage coming our way. I'm guessing this card in his hand there is going to be a counter magic, so we're going to have to watch out for that. Alright, so now we're in his end phase. We'll go ahead and tap Search Mechanism. It gives us a 6 resource. Then we'll play our blood. That'll be 7. So we're only a couple turns away from getting Eternal Guardian out. He knows we have Life Siphon, so he's probably going to save a counter for that. Which isn't all unexpected at all. So let's go ahead and deal some damage. We don't really want to put Pact to Pain out there because we can't really afford to take too much damage. This is pay 2 resources and 2 health. That'd take me down to 11. That would drop me down to less than 3 turns. If we get another escalation card, then we'll go ahead and we could do Pact to Pain there. Right now we're sitting at 12 damage with 2 life siphons. Would be really nice if I can get an extinction next turn, play it, have him counter it, and hopefully he doesn't draw into another counter, then we can play Eternal Guardian. Because by the looks of his deck, he doesn't seem to have any type of removal. He's got 3 resources left, so that's enough to play counter. Proceed to the end phase. Tap him. Curse of Oblivion. Alright, thing with Curse of Oblivion here is, yeah, you can probably... You can counter magic with it, but counter magic still resolves. So this is more useful with escalation cards. We know he's got counter magic in there. So if we play our Eternal Guardian, we could probably maybe force him to play his counter. Let's see if he'll do that. I want to do that. I think that's probably the best play we have. Let's see if he counters it. He does not. Okay. So maybe he doesn't have counter magic. So now basically what we could do here is we could take out his Rocket Ranger and we could continue pinging off his troops one at a time, since they have no way to kill us, do damage to us. So next turn there'd be 5, they'd be down to 12. Volcanon. Not going to be any help for him since I can't take any damage. Time Ripple, that'll bounce that back, that's fine. So let's see here. This is exhausted dwarf or a robot. So there's 3 damage, 6 damage. Ooh, this is going to be close. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5 damage there. He'll probably exhaust one of these. Do 3 damage, yep. So he's out of cards. If we draw into extinction now, that would be perfect. Bummer. Not a big deal. So we could do Life Siphon for 8 and get us back up to 10. But I don't think we do that. I do think that we play Eternal Guardian again. He has nothing unless he draws into a Time Ripple. Which would be extremely lucky, but not entirely unheard of. What I should have done, man, you know what? That wouldn't have mattered if I would have Curse of Oblivion his Time Ripple. No, that would have worked, because I should have avoided his Time Ripple. Dang it. Did I have the resources to do what I did? Son of a gun. Why didn't I do that? That could cost me the game there. So we can do 9 damage there, 14 damage. We don't have lethal. He can block me. He's got 4. I think what we'll do here is we'll attack, see if he blocks with his Rocket Ranger, and then we'll play Life Siphon, see what happens. I don't think he'll block with his Rocket Ranger. No. Okay. So let's go and gain a resource. draws into time ripple, game over. Five, 6, 7, 8. I would have done 9. 9 plus 3 would have been 12. Okay, he did not get time ripple. He may have drawn into counter magic. Let's give it a shot, see if he's got it. Boom, GG. Well, very nice. That's the first time we've went 2-0. I think the deck actually performed pretty well that particular time. The opponent says, "I hate playing against the deck you just played." Yeah, I can imagine. Thank you for the games, he says. No problem. Alright, well, hopefully you enjoyed that. I know it was a far better turnout than it has been in the past, so hopefully you enjoyed the watching me play there. If you liked the video, go and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, we do different videos of do update Saturday. After CZE rolls out a patch, we do some showcase cards of the week. If you want to see those, go ahead and click subscribe below, and we'll have another video for you soon.